Yeah, I guess before we start up, let's just give a moment of silence for Jim Legan. He's been a, huge attendant of our business here at the commissioner's office. He's his father Walt, and then the fellow that would always sit behind him, that was his son Jim. And I remember on Tuesday when during that presentation I sat there and I actually laughed with him because he started snoring, and during the presentation,
during the budget hearing,
and so I bumped him.
Bring up a snore.
Well, Heidi, you didn't do that.
No, that's why he snored.
He wouldn't have fallen asleep if you were doing it.
All right.
And I was also going to mention that Jimmy has been a lifelong resident of Munson, and I've known the family for so many years, and it was such a tragedy. But Walter did say he had a heart valve problem, but he said last when I was talking to him, he said it wasn't a big issue,
Yeah. So we'll do the pledge and then give him a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
which stands
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd be with the family.
Well, may I say one other thing? We have another bad news also. Paul Heltzel, who is the county commissioner in Trumbull County, passed away today. He had cancer. They went in the hospital, and it was just, it's a real tragedy. Paul's a great guy, and we've known him. I've known him all the years I've been here. I just got a call this morning, just a few minutes ago. We could have a little silence for Paul.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Don't want no more.
I don't want anybody having a moment of
No more
silence
bad
for
news.
me.
Okay. All right, so the first order of business is execute the minutes for the meeting on June 24th of 2014.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion approved. Okay. And also a motion for the meetings to get approved for the 26th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion approved. And we've got the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution 14-111 of itemizing financials for the meeting of July 1st. Heidi, good morning.
We have the financials today, and appropriation transfer from the contingency account to return appropriations to the Sheriff's Office for reimbursed blood checks expenses that were deposited into the general fund. We have a cash transfer out of the general fund for the OWDA debt payments for the county water tower and county water treatment plant. Contract for Rupel seal coating for parking lot repair and maintenance for the maintenance department in the amount of $25,000. Purchase order for the safety company LLC for the purchase of Granite XP inspection software, hardware training, and support for the water resources department in the amount of $31,319.10. And the payment to Ravenwood Mental Health Center for the third quarter 2014 youth center funding in the amount of $104,105.01.
Heidi, I just had two questions on this, and I was going through this last night. Ohio Guidestone for the Jobs and Family Services is what?
That's a residential treatment facility.
Okay.
They use for-
And then the only other one was for like 2,000 and, let me see here.
For job and family.
Oh, this race Geauga Inc., 4,737.
Mhm.
That one was for, what exactly is that?
That is, I believe it's along the same lines with the counseling and the program for.
Okay, so this, so that would be just like a private entity then?
Yeah, or nonprofit.
Okay,
Yeah, they contract with a variety of providers.
okay. All right, other than that, any other questions? If we have a motion,
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
aye, motion approved. Thanks, Heidi. Okay, there's that. Okay, number 4 is, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution 14-112, adopting the 2015 tax budget in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.28 and 5705.29.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie? Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Motion stands approved.
You're not? That's
What?
good, because I have to sign them all anyway, so.
Those all the tax budgets.
You're not gonna.
Oh, yeah, all the tax
Oh, then
budgets.
only a few.
Only 9. I opened them all and
Yeah.
made it as easy as possible.
By the signature.
It's a limited edition, personally signed tax budgets.
That's right, I get my own copy. So when I can't sleep.
Well, you figure 100 years from now.
Glenn, while we're signing this, if you wanna come up and we'll start to,
Nobody's.
go through your maintenance,
Morning.
morning.
How we all doing today?
Good, good.
This is just to release the maintenance bond, for a clean that was done, buildings 5 and 6. We have new cleaners in there now, so everything's going good. It's just to release the bond.
Okay, if we could read number 5.
The maintenance department is requesting the board release the bid performance bond for Hawkins Cleaning Services Incorporated for performing custodial services at 470 Center Street, buildings 5 and 6, as all specifications have been met.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Motion stands approved. Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah, no, we can-
Jessica Wolf, how you doing?
I'm good.
When are they gonna spray our cars?
They might start tomorrow.
Spray it.
Oh, I'm sorry,
You mean the
Friday.
driveway.
Friday, yeah. Start.
Not to read his email.
Otherwise, your cars will get sprayed with black asphalt.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. We've been working a lot with maintenance, and they've been very gracious in helping us get some supplies that we need at Home Depot, but it's created a difficult to coordinate. My staff will go with maintenance to Home Depot, so we're asking if we can just be on their card so we can avoid my staff paying out of pocket for things and going with maintenance to the store.
See any issues?
7 are together.
Okay, so if we wanna read both of those then? Okay.
The Department on Aging is requesting the board approve Jessica Bolt and Robert Bevitz to the Maintenance Department Home Depot Commercial Credit Account. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the President of the board to execute the application for authorization to permit the use of county credit cards form, Personal Policy 7.11 Form ORC 301.27 for $1,000 each per month for Jessica Bolt and Robert Bevitz for the Maintenance Department Home Depot Commercial Credit Account.
I make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner
Second.
Sweetie? Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye, motion stands approved. And number 8,
I had another,
No signing?
one of my staff who wants to retire,
Okay.
Elizabeth Slattery, so we accept her resignation.
Oh, good to hear.
It's
Wow.
like retirement month, I guess, I don't know.
now is
Retired.
this, is she the chore coordinator?
She's the ancillary service.
Okay,
So she's been kind of overseeing the maintenance and our clerical.
okay, I see. Okay, if we could read number 8.
The Department on Aging is requesting the board accept the resignation of Elizabeth Slattery, Ancillary Program Coordinator number 1028, to be effective August 1st, 2014.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye, motion stands approved.
Next, I internally posted the position of Chore and Home Safety Program Coordinator. Robert Bob DeVetz had outstanding qualifications. He's dealt with that department for years. So I'd like to extend that offer to him. He's presently making $16.64 an hour, so this promotion, after his probationary period, would be a 67-cent increase in
Okay.
salary.
Any questions?
It's $1,000, it's about $200. Not a big increase, but-
Okay. All right, if we could read number 9.
The Department on Aging is requesting the board promote Robert Bevitz to the position of Chore and Home Safety Program Coordinator number 1032 to be effective July 7, 2014. After the successful completion of a 180-day probationary period, the rate will increase to $17.31 per hour.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion stands approved. Number 10, Jessica.
I believe the auditor sent an email with the certificate regarding the estimated yearly collection for the levy we're proposing at $3,003,613 at 100% collection.
Oh, that's good.
So this is basically just gonna be just some formal paperwork. It's not that we're renew in regards to the renewal?
That's next, number 11.
Okay, all right.
This is the first resolution that's attached is asking him to generate this, so this was generated, and then the next step is to do the
Okay.
resolution, and here, to go ahead and.
Okay, and as far as this here,
That was the original resolution.
that was the original resolution, so we don't
Yes.
have to worry about this one.
Yep.
Okay.
We just are gonna do, you wanna do 10 and 11 together?
Okay, so do you wanna explain any of this then, Jessica, as far as with 10 and 11?
Regarding the levy, which would be collected in January 1st, 2016, it is a renewal. So the amount that taxpayers are paying will remain the same. That's about $30.63 for a $100,000 home. So it is not a new tax, it is not an increase at all.
Okay, okay. Do you feel confident that that's gonna be enough then, as far as with the growing needs and the growing population in this?
I do. As I'm going through the different job descriptions and whatnot, I'm really trying to fine tune things and make sure that we are maximizing our staffing potential and also that we're being fiscally responsible in all of our contracts
Okay.
and who we do business with.
And this would go on the ballot for November?
It would be on the November ballot and the tax would be collected January 1st, 2016.
Yearly following.
2016, okay.
2016.
Oh,
Yeah, 20
a
it's
year
early.
later then.
It's a year early, yeah,
Year early.
But that's good.
yeah.
Okay,
And I know I gave a breakdown of our income and expenses, so
That's not an
right now the
increase.
levy's generating $2,981,313, so there's a slight increase with the overall amount in the county of about 22,000, probably due to some new properties and whatnot.
Okay.
Property value.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're running a pretty tight organization, and we do have a little bit of carryover, but that will be toward a capital improvement.
okay. All right then, if we could read number 10 and 11, yeah.
The Department on Aging is requesting the board acknowledge receipt of the certificate of estimated property tax revenue in regards to the renewal of an existing 1 mil senior citizens levy. The Department on Aging is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 14-113 declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for providing and maintaining senior citizen services and facilities as authorized by ORC 5705.19Y.
Make those motions.
I'll second the motions.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion stands approved.
Thank you all very much.
Yep, have a good
Nice
day
day.
now. Okay, the next we've got is Michael Halls. How are you, Mike?
Good.
Good, good.
Morning.
Alrighty, so we've got, for Lisa Moriarty's position here, if you want to give us just a little quick brief dissertation on that.
Basically, a new position was created, the permit coordinator. There's a lot of testing and studying to go on to get that certification, and not that close, so it definitely will help our department. And we've never had it before, and she she's a good applicant to start the process.
And that takes some of the load off the inspectors.
Yes, yes, I mean, she answered more questions and we have more time to work on the plan. Actually, permits are coming in pretty good right now. I think we've got almost 85 new homes so far for the first half of the year,
Really?
which is
Wow,
quite substantial.
Where are they mostly? All over.
All over.
yeah, that's, wow.
So, yeah, it helps us free us up so we can do plan reviews. She answers a lot of phone calls that we used to take care of, so
Yeah.
it helps us out.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, I've said this before, you know, my feelings is she is by far the most professional and, you know, positive person to talk to. I just, you know, on the private end of dealing with the building department, with the projects that I've been involved with, it's always just a good experience, and she's pretty much, just a key player there in that operation. She's always is,
Yep,
you know,
absolutely.
really.
Your customer service focus.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the follow-up is incredible, and I think this is a great, great position to have her in, because I think she takes things real serious too.
And right now, there's only like 7 people in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
That are actually certified as permit techs. They have an organization.
Yeah.
But only certain groups of them have actually went out and taken the tests and everything, so.
Yeah, I think this will be a big asset for our department, and, you know, I just did some improvements at our Madison location, and I had to deal with the building department there, and the difference between Geauga's building department and Lake County's building department, I'm proud to say, it's like day and night.
Day and night.
I mean, day and night. It's just, you know, and hopefully even after you retire, you know, we could keep that tradition going, because it's just, I mean, you guys care about the people, the contractors, and it's just a breath of fresh air when you see, you know, the other side of it, of what you have to deal with and the hoops that you have to go through. And it's just, you know, at the end of the day, it's frustrating, because especially if a business or homeowner or somebody wants to try to improve something in their county, and to be able to, you know, to have to go up against that grinding wheel of just, you know, bottom line red tape that could be avoided. I just, you know, give you guys kudos, because it's just such a difference of dealing with Geauga and talking to all the contractors. Same thing. They don't say that you guys aren't doing your job. It's just the whole way that you know, perform your job, and the care and time you take, and it's good to hear, you know. I've heard that a number of times, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's done a good job.
So, all right, if we could read number 12 then.
The building department is requesting the board promote Lisa Moriarty to the position of permit technician number 1108 to be effective July 6, 2014, at a rate of $15.86 per hour. After the successful completion of a 180-day probationary period, the rate will increase to $16.69 per hour.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Speedy? Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye, motion stands approved. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Have a good day.
You too, thank you.
Okay, county engineer, Joe. Hey, good morning, Joe. How are you?
We have here today the revisions to the subdivision regulations. Whenever someone puts a new subdivision in the county, they obviously have to go by the regulations adopted by the Board of Commissioners. But the engineer's office is the agent that inspects it and makes sure it's up to standard and everything. Periodically, we review it and update it based on multiple things. ODOT changes their CMS, which is the construction material book, every 2 to 3 years, so it wasn't consistent with them anymore, so you can't reference the old books. So we fixed all that stuff to be consistent. And then the other big thing was we've had issue here lately with the maintenance guarantee. If you probably remember last year, actually it's been 2 years now, banks won't take them anymore, because it costs them more to handle the money than it makes them. And the old regulation said that commissioners need to deposit the checks for the maintenance guarantee from the developer into an interest-bearing account. Well, as you're aware, the banks all said, we're not taking it. So we weren't even allowed to abide by our own regulations going forward, so I think Christine still has one of the last ones, 2 of them.
So what do you do in lieu of
So,
that?
that was a problem, there was no legal remedy to it. So what we did in here is we literally just changed the language to say that the commissioners can hold that.
The check,
Yes.
just
So
leave it in
now-
limbo.
It's a bank check, and you would hold it. And, you know, someday when maybe the interest rates come back, the banks will be interested in this again, but they want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I could see
It's
that.
a liability and it
More
costs
trouble
them
than
money.
it's worth.
Yeah.
Now, Joe, what happens if they, let's say it's a company, and I don't think that, I mean, we have pretty reputable companies, but all of a sudden they, pull up their bootstraps and leave overnight, we're stuck with the check that stopped payment on, then what do we do?
No, it's actually a
Bank
bank check,
check.
so they
Okay, I
can't stop
see.
payment on it. And what that check is to do is if, this is actually a maintenance guarantee, so, after they built it and we accept it, they still don't have the top course on, which is
Okay.
intentional, because what was happening, then you go in and build all these houses and they tore it up, and then the townships were getting stuck fixing it.
Mm.
So what we do is we allow them then to sell lots and build houses, and then after they have a certain buildup, then they go in and they pave the top, and then really they guarantee it for a year after that, and then it gets released, and then it's the township's maintenance responsibility.
I see.
So it kind of protects all parties, it's worked really well. The only issue with that right now is with zero, nobody's getting any interest, banks just don't want to handle the money.
And is
That's
it
the
like a
only
total
issue.
percent of the job?
Yeah.
10%, 5%.
Yeah,
I was gonna
the
say, a certified check is, even if it does come from the bank, that can be stopped. That can be
Well,
stopped.
the thought process is now, once we get the regulations changed
But
so
it
that
holds
we
their
can
money
hold
in
it,
abeyance.
then the commissioners can actually ask the state auditor to create a fund, and then we can actually
Deposit it.
deposit those checks.
Yeah, you really need to
And then
deposit
release
it.
it.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, we will.
even
That
if it's
way we have
certified,
money.
I have seen where that can be stopped.
Exactly, and my recommendation would be you do deposit it in an
Yeah.
account.
In
But
a-
right now, like the ones we have from the last
It
couple of
just
years,
sits in the
you
files.
can't legally deposit them because it's against your regulations,
I hear.
and the auditor wouldn't allow you to create a fund
Yeah.
for it. So,
So with this
it's really
change,
put
we
us
can
in.
request the fund.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Put
So-
it into like an account,
How
a
long is
hold,
that
like
gonna
an
take?
escrow kind of thing.
Well, we have
What
to
are
hold,
the-
we have to hold a public hearing
You mean for the new
regarding-
regs?
for the regulations.
Okay, yeah, and then if we decide to petition the state to allow us to cash these checks, when we get them, and
You
then
will- you will-
deposit
No,
them.
we won't.
No, you'll automatically be able to going forward when this gets adopted.
Okay.
Now, the two,
As soon as
the
that
two
is
that
done,
we're
we
sitting
can.
on,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, those two
they're
are.
under the old ones,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Until those get
And
our
I think
final
you guys
approval,
are
we
about
can't
ready
release them.
to
Coldwater's
release
in
them
pretty good
anyway.
shape, we've
Yeah.
done the walkthrough on that and everything, so.
When you say that they come back in and put the top coat on after a certain percentage, you wouldn't know, is it like 50% of the lots that are sold, or is it
I
a?
do not know off the top of my head, to be honest with you.
I mean, some places, especially with the recession, there could have been almost a time
Right.
thing, I mean, you might
So-
not get 50% buildup in 10 years with the bad
So
economy.
Joe, these people, they don't go through bonding then?
Hmm?
They're not going through bonding, they're actually putting their cash up for that certified check. Because some-
For that part, yes.
for
They-
that- I mean, they're
they
actually-
are bonded under construction.
On
When
construction.
they're constructing, they're bonding, in
Yeah.
case they go out of business.
Yeah.
So
Depends
it's
what you're
not
selling.
sitting there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, cause that,
But
having
yeah,
a
those
company,
are
I
two
know the
different things,
difference
correct.
between the bonding and the
Right,
certified.
right, so they have to do both, right?
Just
Yeah.
like
And they're
that.
obviously bonded for any damage they might
Yeah.
do to our infrastructure.
And they have to have a pretty good
Yeah,
rating to get
yeah, or it's very costly to them.
very
Yeah.
costly.
But yeah, one of the issues we had with cold water is, cold water off of Kyle got started, it was almost done, and the company went belly up, and,
Wow.
and here's
Really?
one issue, yeah, and the tough thing about it is, there's a lot of people wanting to buy lots in there, and no one could do anything, so finally, was it El Mary, I think, bought it, and
Wow.
bought it from the bank, so, everything's gotten straightened around with that, and moved forward.
And he actually agreed, for the board to hold the checks because of all the stuff that was going on with the CDs and the banks. He agreed to have it to be held with no interest. He did agree to that.
Nice, yeah. So this is really just to set a hearing,
Yeah.
and, so we can go forward, move forward, and clean things up.
Okay, so number 13, if we could do a read.
The county engineer's office is requesting the board grant permission to advertise to hold a public hearing for the proposed amendment to the standard specification and procedures for the design and construction of subdivision roads in Geauga County to be held on Tuesday, August 5th, 2014 at 10:20 a.m. Notice of this public hearing will be advertised on July 3rd, 2014 and on the county website.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion stands approved. I got your message too, I wasn't even on yet, I just haven't had a chance to call you back on the counters.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, you
thank you.
called about one
Yeah.
road, yeah.
Yep, perfect, thank
Yeah,
you.
and did I forward you the
Yeah,
emails? So-
yeah, because Jerry was one of them.
Was
too that
Jerry one of
called.
them?
Yeah,
All right.
yep,
Yeah, and he actually emailed me back, said thank you, and,
yep, perfect,
Yeah,
perfect,
thank
thank you, Joe.
yep.
Okay, so now we've got the Geauga County Trumbull Solid Waste.
I don't think anybody is here.
Do you want to
Management
explain
letter.
this?
Mr. Village came in and actually sat down with Dave and I. All this is a letter. They use an outside agency to do their audit, and so you have to sign off on this so they can release the audit to the state auditor's office.
All right, if we can make a read on number 14 then.
The Geauga Trumbull Solid Waste Management District is requesting the board approve and execute the management representation letter and post-engagement waiver form in connection with the agreed upon procedures report for the period January 1st, 2012 through December 31st, 2013, to be submitted to the auditor of state.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion stands approved. Okay, and we've got water resources. Doug Bone, how are you?
Very good.
Good, good.
Morning.
Good morning.
The first 5 items there, this is the posting that we did internally for a water/wastewater operator, plant operator. And the 5 of them did recently get their operator licenses. The only correction on this is the very first one, Jason Simpson, is a water plant operator, not wastewater, but then the other 4 are wastewater. It's the exact same job title
Water
and
plant.
number, but it's water.
Is he the only one?
He's the only one, the other 4 are wastewater.
Plant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then do we want to read those all together?
Sure. The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board promote Jason Simpson to the position of Water Plant Operator 1, number 2326, to be effective July 7, 2014, at a rate of $18.60 per hour with a 180-day probationary period. The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board promote Keith Baker to the position of Wastewater Plant Operator 1, number 2326, to be effective July 7, 2014, at a rate of $18.60 per hour with a 180-day probationary period. The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board promote Todd Kalvik to the position of Wastewater Plant Operator 1, number 2326, to be effective July 7, 2014, at a rate of $18.60 per hour with a 180-day probationary period. The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board promote Ray Farinacci to the position of Wastewater Plant Operator 1, number 2326, to be effective July 7, 2014, at a rate of $18.60 per hour with a 180-day probationary period. The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board promote Bernard Kolarchuk to the position of Wastewater Plant Operator 1, number 2326, to be effective July 7, 2014, at a rate of $18.60 per hour with a 180-day probationary period.
Before, one question on that, now Ray Farinacci, he was on that other position above maintenance, correct?
Correct.
So he went from that one to plant operator?
Right.
And then, are we still looking to fill that position in between the maintenance and the operator? Like, what was the name specific?
Maintenance specialist?
Yeah.
Yeah, in other words, we still have the same number of people. It's just
Okay.
a different title there, so we got, we're at the best staff we've ever been at.
Okay,
So
okay.
we haven't lost anybody or anything, so.
So will we need to repost for that maintenance specialist, or will we just be able to go with the operators and remain just with our maintenance?
In other words, yeah, basically, now all of these in the pool, whenever somebody's off sick or on vacation, we can grab any one of these people that is normally in maintenance to do the operation job.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it just sort of opens up a broader, in other words, now they're certified for the EPA to actually run our operator routes.
But they're still doing their
They're
regular
still
job.
doing their other job too at the
Right.
time.
still doing the maintenance, but they could actually do both
Step
roles
up
then?
and do it
Okay.
as necessary.
Yeah, very good.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll make those motions.
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion stands approved.
Okay, next one is for the Thompson Sewer Project, and that is just actually starting. They're locating out there, they're getting their trailer out there, so they're gonna start digging any day. And we'll have monthly meetings on the third Thursday of every month, and at that point, there's a pay request that everybody has to sign in the presence of everybody, USDA and all the different people there. So we'll get the pay request and everything a week in advance, and then we'll forward it to Dave. So this is a request for Dave to approve them after we have looked at them and approved them. And then he can sign them before we get to the meeting, and then everybody has to sign them at the meeting.
And in case Dave
This-
isn't here, it authorizes the
Ralph.
president.
Okay.
On the Thompson deal, came up yesterday, I was working with some people, and what do you think the estimation of completion date is gonna be on that? I mean, I may have heard it already earlier, but
Yeah.
I didn't retain it.
It all depends on the weather, my guess. It could be by December, it could be by February, March, whatever.
Okay.
So if we're gonna be having people tie in during the spring and summer of next year, we need to give them at least 6 months.
Okay.
So I think the deadline will probably be Labor Day of next year, the time for this one.
So sometime from, say, spring or
March,
fall
September.
of next
15.
year,
Okay.
15, they'll start, and then they gotta be finished by that date. Okay, thank you. Sure.
Okay, so number 20 then.
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 14-114, authorizing the county administrator to execute monthly partial pay estimates and RD 440-11 engineering invoices for the Thompson Sewer Project.
I'll make those motions.
Second.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion stands approved. Thank you, Doug. Dave, do you want to do 21?
Yeah, I mean, Christie's really been doing the lion's share of the work on this, but it's a requirement that each county that's in the NACOG, which is Ashtabula, Portage, and Geauga, try to bring in folks to sit on the Workforce Investment Board to be aware of what's going on as far as job retraining, monies being spent through this organization. So these are the folks that have expressed a willingness to serve.
Just to add to that,
Yeah.
out of the ones that we have previously appointed, 2 of them chose not to come back due to one of them moving out of state, and the other one just didn't have the time. So, and one person we have not heard back from, so we have 3 open positions that we are working on trying to fill. We did receive an application this morning that I will be sending out to you for a possibility of filling one of those business representations, and then we're working on the other 2. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board reappoint the following individuals to the NACOG Area 19 Workforce Investment Board with for a term ending June 30th, 2015. Aaron DeCola, Pleasant Hill County Home Community Organization. Janice Gathers, Mature Services, Title V. Tim Taylor, Job and Family Services, TANF. Thomas Michael, Tag Media Limited Business. Danielle Lentz, Geauga Medical Center Business. Lee and Hawk, Troy Chemical Industries Incorporated Business. And Thomas Andrew, Maxine LLC Business.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Speedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye, motion stands approved. Okay, and the next we're gonna have from 22 to 27. We're gonna have Christine read off the resolutions honoring the participation in the 66th Annual State Science Day 2014.
Just so you know, they are all Geauga County residents. These are different schools from Novelty, Chesterland, and they were all from different schools in Geauga County, representing West Geauga, Hawken. Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 14-115 honoring Kirsten Bonai upon her participation in the 66th Annual State Science Day 2014. Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 14-116 honoring Opal Contizano upon her participation in the 66th Annual State Science Day 2014. Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 14-117 honoring Patrick Doctrine upon his participation in the 66th Annual State Science Day 2014. Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution that number 14-118 honoring Daniel Hartman upon his participation in the 66th Annual State Science Day 2014. Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution number 14-119 honoring Lily McKee upon her participation in the 66th Annual State Science Day 2014. Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution number 14-120 honoring Maureen Rakovic upon her participation in the 66th Annual State Science Day 2014.
I make those motions.
Second.
Commissioner Speed?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye, motions all stand approved. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board move into executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation.
I make that motion.
Commissioner
And we're gonna
Speed?
have,
Laura
Who will
will
be
be joining you.
joining
Laura.
us? Laura?
Joni, I believe.
And Joni? Okay.
I guess I'll be.
and you,
And
Yep.
Mr. Lair, do we have a motion?
so moved.
Yeah.
Commissioner Speed?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye, motion approved.
Pause it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be back from executive session, no action taken at this time, at 11 o'clock. So now, do we have to make a motion on that or no? Okay. So then, number 29 is the Commissioner's Office, we requesting the board appoint Deborah Ashburn, acting clerk, for the period July 3rd through July 12th, 2014, while Christine is on vacation.
Oh, you're all going on vacation at the same time,
Not the same place, but.
No, I'm going farther south.
Excuse me.
Okay.
You move?
Yeah.
I second.
Commissioner Speedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye, motion stands approved. And then, for the meetings, we've got county offices will be closed for the 4th of July. The 8th we'll have regular session. The 8th we'll have a planning commission meeting still on.
As far as I haven't been told that it got canceled.
Hey, it's only the first.
Yeah.
They got days to cram.
Well, you know, the building's picking up.
Then the Commissioner's Office will hold regular session on the 10th, NOACA on the 11th, Board of Directors, 10 a.m. in Cleveland. The 15th will hold regular session. The 21st is Family First at 2 p.m. at the Jobs and Family Services. The 22nd, Commissioners will hold regular session. The 24th, Commissioners will hold regular session at 6:30 p.m. And that's the evening that
Yeah, they're coming.
Byron and
NOACA is
Yeah.
gonna
So
be there.
far, yeah.
Okay, the 29th, there's gonna be a regular session, and then just to give an update, as of yesterday, I went down to Columbus with a couple of the judges and the prosecutor, and it was a heroin symposium, and it was pretty interesting, a little bit disheartening to see how the direction of there's a real concern. State knows that there's a huge heroin epidemic in this state. However, the what I left with is that you know, the dollars and cents part of this is going to leave the counties in this state still with an extreme large amount of burden, and the part that I personally didn't care for is that they're trying to tie the hands of the judges as far as sentencing goes and as far as prison time goes, because they are trying to consider these people nonviolent criminals, and they're saying that we had a speech done by John Bourne, who is the Director of Rehabilitation and Corrections. He basically oversees all the prisons in the state of Ohio, and he's been there for 40 years. And he basically said under no terms under his watch is he going to build any more jails. And when he started, there was 8,300 people, and there's currently 52,000 people in state prisons right now. And he's basically saying that there's got to be other avenues, and so at the end of the day, it just seems like the burden is put on our courts, our prosecutor, and you know, and ultimately it's put on the county to provide the resources to make this happen. And I think that the initiative is going to be that, you know, we have to continue to work as a county together with the prosecutor's office, with the judges, with Jobs and Family Services, mental health, just all the agencies to come up with the best plan to be able to you know, continue to combat this. And I think that at the end of the day, the two things that I left with Geauga County, that I think that this is something that, you know, would probably be beneficial for us to sit down with the county prosecutor and with the judges, is the part of supervised probation, that because of the fact that, you know, the judges have their hands tied on sending people to prison for certain crimes in certain situations, that due to lack of manpower and of personnel, they're having a real struggle with these people leaving, and there's not an enforcement arm after the case.
After the fact,
Right.
if they leave.
And I left out of there because it's almost like we're being parents to these people, but this is the direction that basically the state is mandating for the courts to go, is almost to be in this form. And for our own protection of our county, is that we may need to really, you know, sit down and revisit this. And then the other big key part of this whole thing is prevention, you know, of trying to get to the kids, get to the parents' kids, and coordinating, whether it's with the schools, the churches. This is not a person problem. This is a society problem. It involves everybody, because we're all victims to this in one way or another, whether it's the taxes that we have to pay to cover the costs of this, whether it's us being a victim of a crime because of our houses getting burglarized or broken into, for them to, you know, to sell stuff for their habit, or your car getting broken into. Who knows? I mean, the spectrum just continues to go, and ultimately, this is a community problem, and it's across the state, and
Across the country, really.
yeah, and we are number 5 out of all 50 states for the highest level of epidemic rated in the entire county.
Was that on a per capita basis or in total?
I don't know how they had the statistic, but it's basically the Midwest is who is being the strongestly affected by the heroin
Most
situation.
people.
And it's just it's scary, because statistically they showed a bar graph of where, like, the crack cocaine epidemic was between in the early 90s, where marijuana was, where and you see that there was a climb and a small fall, but then the other part of it was the fatalities that they showed. They had 2 lines that showed that, and never was the heroin got to the point where it just spiked, and it spiked hard and fast, and the deaths spiked hard and fast, and it's just, so it's something that the state has never really addressed in this fashion, and the sheer size of what this problem is. You can tell standing there. I mean, the governor spoke, the director of public safety spoke, the director of corrections spoke. Everybody was there, and everybody is just basically at a loss because of the fact that this is so overwhelming, that there's, that everybody has hope that their scenario is working, or they're trying to take a hit on this, but it's a huge problem, and it's what's even more scarier is that it's just one of the most addictive situation, type of substances that's out there, and the damage. This is the other scary part that people aren't being vocal about. is that the fear is they're damaging themselves so bad that these are lifelong damages that they're doing to their brains with this substance that we are as a society, sure, you know, somebody could be, you know, break their leg and they put a cast on and then 6 months they're walking around again. These damages are almost irreversible in the brain, and it's a chemical substance that is, and that's the biggest fear is that we are just destroying a society of people that what's down the road, you know, rehabilitation is one thing, but it's a scary thing that's just across the board. I don't know.
You know,
The thing that
it's-
bothers me, I spoke with a professional here about this not too long ago, and what this person had to say, and I'll preface it by it was that person's opinion. I didn't have a lot of other data to go by, but I said the problem's almost unsolvable because there's money on both ends. We look at the money on the end of the supplier, the you know, the people pushing the drug, the buying, the crime that's involved to get the money to buy. But then this person told me, he said, well, the other part that hasn't been really identified yet because of the newness is the treatment end. And everybody with a shingle or some credentials behind their name is ready to jump in as an expert to solve the drug issue with their program or the next program or whatever's coming down the pipe. And some are very worthwhile, and others are, I hate to use the word flim-flam, but a sham, you know, they're not.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let's make some money now, you know,
Right.
and that's legal.
And we just got
To go there
Yeah.
and do a bogus rehab program is legal.
My question is this as bad? Of course, you know, you're a lot younger than we are, and in our time, Ralph is. Yeah, it's true. In our time, it was LSD. It was the AIDS epidemic because of what I remember. You know, if you Woodstock, I mean, it was free. I mean, it was just like rabbits. I mean, people
Yeah.
were,
But
and they would take when they would do these trips. They would virtually have these flashbacks all the time, and they would never. It was like lysergic acid. It just fried the brain.
Well, and they made
Remember?
that
No, I wasn't there.
Get you
they made that comparison, and it. And,
What'd they say?
and
Was it
and
as bad or?
This is better than anything like that has ever been.
Really?
As far as the
It's worse.
the situation of the whole high that these
And it's
people
so
are
cheap to
experiencing, and it is so desired that there's just such a demand to go back to that's why there's such a drive to be addicted, and it's just
Scary.
And here's the other thing too: is just our socioeconomic time and just our society itself today. We've gone in the situation where we have displaced ourselves from families, from religion, from church, from everything else.
All the things.
So all those things, and in addition to that is you know, years ago you could go to Ford or you could go to Lubrizol or what, you know, these companies where there was a lot of manufacturing still in Ohio. People had the ability of going to a job and
Another
having
job.
a job
Yeah.
and having, but now
There was
one of the
economic
things-
promise,
yeah,
and today there isn't.
there is in the level.
And when
of
you got a
depression.
job, you had it for 25,
Right.
30
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
So the-
You'd have to worry
It is.
where you're gonna get retirement.
So our poverty level has actually gone
That's-
up, where we have more people in that that whole socioeconomic class that happens to get driven. I mean, the problem is not just the drugs. The problem is full circle. It's just a really, really difficult thing, and that's
Breakdown of the family.
You know, but it comes down to is the basics of, you know, family and just, you know,
There's everything.
that's and it's just what's changed from 40 years ago and today
Oh.
is huge in what we deal with
Well,
today.
it just seemed like, you know, the breakdown of society, what I can remember, a long time, but from 65 on,
Right.
you know, you had a breakdown of society. And it hasn't, I haven't seen that it has gotten much better over
Right.
the time. And now, what do you
Well-
have? The family is,
Right.
you don't have the strong family.
No, you don't.
You don't have the religious affiliations because there was so much going on in the churches.
Well, and unfortunately, I think
Lost
that.
people's confidence in
It-
religion.
And I don't have a problem saying this, but I believe that, you know, we have, even as government, you know, and it was just in the Supreme Court just a couple of weeks ago, and actually yesterday regarding the benefits. As government, we have had such a huge separation of church and state,
State.
and that it's gone to the point that that's like taboo to even, you know, say this is probably a good thing. You know, I at the end of the day, when I go to church on Sunday, I don't hear anything that's going to wrongfully affect your life or anybody else's life. It's good information, and it's good to it's not really a bad way to live your life, you know?
No, it's
And
not.
at the
but-
end of the day, it comes down to is that we have gotten to a point that we don't wanna insult anybody. We don't wanna bring ourselves to a point of stepping over that line of wrong, and here we are. So it's just a tough deal, and
And I don't know how you change societal values, and I don't know how we're gonna change that, because it's pleasure now, it's,
Right.
I want it now, I cannot wait.
well, and everything is now, right, you know,
Right now.
40 years ago, you didn't have a cell phone to
Oh, no.
call 12 dealers. You had your contacts, and if they were out, you were out. Now, it's just the power of being able to be in touch with the world at the touch of a finger. So that's the other thing that was discussed is,
When you were, you know, 40 years ago, you got married, you lived within a certain budget, you bought a car, you
Right.
saved up the money for that car,
right,
and you lived on that, you didn't charge.
yeah,
I remember
I
this
know,
clearly.
today everybody wants patience and they
Yeah.
want it now. I mean, they don't.
I don't know how you change
Want
those
now.
values and how this, you know, you're touching on a serious problem that we're all gonna face. And what's bad is your children or your grandchildren, it's scary for them, you know, and you know, you send your child to a school that you're hoping that the values will keep them
right.
safe, but will it?
I don't know. It's a sad time, and it's the sad part about it is there's no real gleam of
No
true hope. That's what I left there with yesterday is that we know that we've got a huge problem, and it's gotten to a point where everybody has been affected in one way or another. Whether you believe it or not, the cost that you pay in stores, you're paying more because our insurance is more, because our theft is
Right.
more, or to make up for the theft that's going on. I can tell you that personally, it happens all
They're
the time.
stealing.
So at the end of the day, it's just, and you know, 40 years ago, you probably could leave your door open in your house when you drive away. Today, you probably can't. So it's that. So we're paying a price whether we see
Yeah.
those physically or not. It's there, and it's just a situation where it's a situation that I can only pray that we can get past.
And that's what we're gonna
standards.
need to do, and bring our values back.
Well, and
Well, I'll make a
going-
motion to
going
adjourn
forward,
at this point.
Yeah,